can just the best of kau kalau kita boleh memang just stop the gadget tu, but you ada tak something yang you nak replace tu?
Selamat kembali menonton The Unity Show bersama saya, Aini Sohaidi. We are back to talk about children's well-being. I'm not married yet, tapi it's honestly one of my favorite topic to talk about. Jadi topik kita malam ni is on speech delay. So let's welcome seorang parenting speaker dan juga coach, Dr. Atiyah Azmi, ataupun lebih mesra dikenali sebagai Mama Tiyah on social media.
Hai, Assalamualaikum everyone.
Waalaikumsalam. Doktor nak tanya, do I have to call you Mama Tiyah?
You can choose. Atiyah boleh, Mama Tiyah pun boleh. It's up to you.
Maybe doktor sebab macam dah terpanggil, dah terbiasa panggil doktor kan. Tapi when I was going through your social media, macam alamak, pressure pula semua orang nak panggil Mama Tiyah.
Mama Tiyah. Dia manja.
Oh, manja.
Manja.
Okay, doktor. So topik kita malam ni is on speech delay. Obviously, the angle of tonight's discussion is from a parenting punya angle lah.
Okay.
So speech delay for me, yang I tahu, it means, lambat bercakap. Like, is there like more to it? Apa yang kita tak tahu about speech delay?
Yeah, okay. So speech delay ni kalau we hear it, dah ramai orang dah mula aware about it kan? Especially for me, like I started to become a mom in 2010. So I remember that during that time, kiranya my generation masa tu lah kan, we were exposed to gadgets kan? Masa zaman, maknanya kita yang dah habis uni, dah start kerja ni ada gadget. And then that was the time that a lot of parents started to give, including me, started to give iPad, tablets to our kids because it was sort of like an entertainment. Then from there, actually, ramai orang notice juga that their kids lambat develop speech. Okay, so that's what I noticed, that actually mula ramai orang sedar tentang speech delay tu, and it becomes like a more of a public punya discussion. Sebab maybe prior to that, it's not very apparent, orang tak nampak sangat. And then mungkin parents yang betul-betul ada je anak speech delay tu yang betul-betul tahu. But because ada gadgets tu, memang lagi bertambah sikit dia punya incidence of this speech delay. So speech delay ni basically, it's not just because of the gadget, but that's one factor lah about what it's about when the child is not able to speak or have the speech development dia ikut the real milestone. Okay?
Right.
Yeah, so it's not, I mean, baby baru lahir, we don't expect them to say anything. They can only cry. Tapi you notice that eventually they develop certain speech kan, they start to babble, they start to say ma, ba, and then dia dah mula tunjuk nak, tu, dia dah mula boleh bercakap. And then from one word, from just sounds, it becomes a word. And then from that word, jadi two words. To nak air, nak tidur, and then eventually then you will see the child lama-lama dalam almost 3 years old tu dah boleh like have a real proper speech, kan?
Right.
Yeah, so it's a progress. It's a developmental progress for the child to develop this speech. So when the child is not developing this ability according to the timeline or within the bracket yang window yang kita expect them to have certain development, so that's when you categorize them as speech delay tu. And then dia ada not just speech delay tu, could it be that they having motor issues yang sebenarnya dia orang punya organs to speak tu ke yang macam mouth ke, dia punya brain ke yang tak boleh nak say it, the voice ke apa, or is it the comprehension? Sebab sometimes dia macam boleh, dia punya everything okay kat motor part, cuma the part yang nak make the speech in the brain tu je yang mungkin a bit delayed. So that's why kalau yang speech therapist, speech apa dia panggil, speech language pathologists, they are experts in this, and there's of course the pediatricians, they will know how to pick up and tell you which one yang your child ni, what is it, what kind of speech delay and what needs to be done.
Okay, tapi doktor, what about okay, bila doktor katakan dia macam okay, motor okay, tapi comprehension tu, what about gagap? Gagap tu sama juga ke?
Okay, gagap tu yang macam stammer or stutter tu kan. Itu pun ada yang macam psychological, or is it like because of the motor speech tu? So that one pun is a different, it's not speech delay, but it's just a type of speech pathology or something yang related to, dia macam kita ada normal, tapi adalah dia punya yang pathology dia yang not as according to the normal types tu. So gagap tu is different, tapi gagap tu pula maknanya part of it goes back to how we involved in the speech development of the child tu juga.
Oh, and okay, bila cakap pasal agak, okay, what about pelat? I want to know pelat sebab macam my sister pelat daripada kecil kan, R dia tak boleh sebut R kan selalu kan. So is that because of okay, one of the factor macam doktor sebut tadi gadget. So pelat pun sama ke?
Okay, kalau macam macam contoh gadget tu kan. Okay, macam pelat dulu. Okay, pelat ni kita tengok expect budak yang memang awal-awal tu memang kita expect dia orang akan pelat. And then if you see juga Aini, ada budak yang memang adik-beradik ini sama je. Tapi ada budak tu at this age, macam katalah kakak dia masuk umur 2 tahun dah cakap tu memang tak ada pelat. Tapi ada adik dia ada pelat. Tapi raised by the same parents pun. Kan? So maybe adalah faktor yang macam dia punya muscles and then dia punya ability tu lambat sikit. So contoh macam anak I pun, I perasan ada kakak anak yang first, masa dia kecil dia pelat lebih sikit daripada adik-adik dia. Tapi eventually okay lah through practice, through kita speak properly tu kan. But ada certain sounds tu they can't make it yet. So that's orang kata kita speak as normal and as perfectly speak to the kids as possible.
Like an adult, like kita cakap, saya macam cakap dengan doktor macam ni. Tak boleh, mamam.
So don't encourage them to be like, oh nak pupup, nak mamam ke apa kan, macam nak do. Tapi kita say it properly because that is part of the child punya way to learn and develop their speech.
Right. So kira okay, macam doktor kata ni kan kategori macam okay, macam speech delay, gagap and pelat ni semua macam benda yang berbeza, tapi benda ni boleh not to say cure, but boleh diubah lah, macam boleh, you can progress out from it, macam tu ke?
Yeah, okay. So I had this live session last time with this speech therapist Farah. Her name is Farah. I can't remember the second name, but she was explaining juga how speech ni it's actually macam step by step punya proses tau. So it's not just bercakap. It's not just kita ingat pak terus bercakap, but nak dapat ke bercakap tu pula perlukan processing of ada ability to identify what is this object, and then there's a name to it. I can understand that this name and I can say it. You know, so dia banyak proses sebenarnya. It's not like one thing yang kita expect dia boleh cakap je. So maknanya you actually as parents ni kita kena faham how is it that process of speech tu. So katakanlah kalau yang viewers yang ada memang dia rasa anak dia ada speech delay, yang I remember from this speech therapist yang memang dia cakap any doubt yang kita ada, bawa je jumpa expert or doktor ke apa, just to get evaluated. Because maybe kita ingatkan nak kita belum boleh cakap, or maybe pelak sangat, tapi kalau orang yang boleh assess tu and cakap, oh it's not, this is part of dia orang punya growth, this is part of the process of learning. Tapi kata kalau macam umur 4 tahun still macam pelat, tak boleh nak cakap betul-betul, you know, one or two words, that one like is alarming lah kan. You have to go and get somebody to assess your child. So for me pun in children ni, we have to think always that early intervention is always the best. So anything kita ada ni, bawa je jumpa. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with your child, you know, but it's about us as parents taking charge to actually seek the opinion of an expert. And I have actually brought one of my child, pernah I bawa masa umur 3 years old, I bawa pergi child psychiatrist because I was curious, like, does she have autism? Because I thought to myself, if she does, then what can I do? You know, so we have to have this thing like macam not be in denial or like, do you know ke tak? Sometimes you just have to be brave and just, you know, seek the help of a professional, especially when it comes to our children.
Okay doktor. You know, bila doktor kata macam okay, early
Intervention.
signs, early intervention, all these doubts kan that you have about your kids. Do you think macam our kids like now, kita cakap pasal sekarang kan, bukan zaman sekarang ni, macam do you think our kids are just being overdiagnosed, you know, macam lambat sikit speech delay, tak fokus autistic, like are we like stamping our kids, berapa pun dah kita stamp
label them, yes.
Yeah.
That's betul. Itu pun boleh jadi problem juga, where everyone is just like reading up everything and then like, oh my god, that sounds like my child, oh my god, that sounds like me. You know, we start to diagnose ourselves. Tapi look at it at an angle like, what can I do to help my child? So sometimes, contohlah kita memang rasa lah, contoh anak kita ni memang we feel that there is something like behavioral issue ke, or certain things that is out of your control. Like you think that you're doing the best already,
Yeah.
nothing is changing. Or macam, you know that you need to help your child. Okay, so when we go to seek like professional help ke apa, it's not to just label the child, but for us to know what's going on. Because kita, yalah, parents are not all doctors, we're not all like speech therapists ke apa, we don't know, right? And then true enough, bila I bawa pergi jumpa child psychiatrist pun, memang she was saying, oh, your child is, dia dah buat assessment semua, okay, but it's just that maybe dia ni memang it's just the behavior, and then dia punya character tu. So kita as parents dah boleh macam, okay, you know what to do. So she was just like giving some tips on what to do. And then I pun memang ingat, no matter what, don't label your children. Kata kalau you pun sendiri tahu the diagnosis ke apa, you don't have to keep on saying to your child macam, oh, because you have this, speech delay ke apa ke. So because ya Allah, subhanallah, for me, I really trust professionals lah, because they are trained in it, and they would hopefully we will always meet the right ones who give us the right advice. And sometimes one thing je dia bagi tahu kita that is so profound that when you do it, it works straight away. Contoh okay, what I was speaking about gadgets tu kan, I remember one nurse, while I was taking care of my late son dulu, I was quite close to all the nurses in the ward. So one of them told me that, do you know that dia punya first child, dia son dia, she gave him, so dia kerja penat kot, shift semua tu, so dia bagi anak dia tablet. Macam I cakap lah, our generation tu tak tahu lagi the impact of that gadget to our children's brain and the speech tu. So dia kata dia notice anak umur 4 tahun tu, anak dia memang tak boleh nak cakap. Anak dia macam just point and tak boleh nak, speak.
Communicate lah.
Yes, so memang she noticed that, oh my God, is it because of the gadget? So memang dia bawa assessment semua tu, and memang dia pun regulate balik lah the usage of gadgets and started to intervene. Alhamdulillah, so he was okay. Kan, Alhamdulillah, he can speak.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, so but sometimes we don't know. And even like my sister is an eye doctor, even she says that juga, she's seeing patients yang anak-anak yang guna gadgets, banyak pun mata. Ada yang mata macam nak juling, and mata kering, all these things that we don't know what is associated with all this new technology ni. So like for me as a parent kan, it's not about blaming everything that's around us, but it's about knowing that it's there and we want to use it, but kita kena be aware juga on the impact that it has. Yes.
Right.
So macam I read this book by Dr. Shimi Kang. She's a child and adolescent psychiatrist in the US. So dia punya buku ni tajuk dia The Tech Solution, which I think kalau any parents yang able to buy it, it's a very good scientific based book that she says that children yang baby lah, awal when they start to are exposed to gadgets, mungkin lama lah, kadang setengah orang kan dia duduk, dia nak masak ke apa, just bagi anak tengok phone je kan. Kadang kat stroller pun orang clipkan phone.
Tak je,
Yes, even I remember dekat ward pun I nampak kat hospital, yelah mungkin parents tu dia dah, mungkin in our zaman dah tak tahu nak buat apa, main phone. So anak pun kita bagi phone. So she said that by the time 18 months tu, it affects the myelination of the nerves tu tau. So macam kita punya nerves ni, dia ada this sheath like myelin ni that helps to make the transmission of the neuron, apa dia panggil, information to nervous information to be faster. So dia kata bila kita expose to gadgets awal untuk babies ni and children, it affects that sheath tu. So the information punya relaying of information tu is slowed down. So that's why speech punya development tu akan affected. Yes, so we have to look at all angles, because sometimes mungkin memang ada child tu tak ada pun main gadgets, tak ada pun all these things, do you think, but dia still tak boleh nak develop the speech. So, or maybe does he or she have something else? Like what else could be the factor yang dia tak boleh nak bercakap or develop this speech ni. So it's we have to be observant with our children, and anything you feel, you macam ada gut feeling kan,
doubt tu jelah, mother's intuition tu tak pernah salah.
So listen to your instinct, and if you feel there's something that you need help with, don't be shy, don't be scared, don't hesitate, just go and seek for help.
Tapi doktor, okay, other than mother's intuition or like doubt yang kita gut feeling dalam hati kita tu kan, apa early indication, like early signs yang mungkin anak kita macam okay, macam lambat bercakap ni, macam other than the obvious macam red flags tu tak payahlah, red flags tu mungkin kita boleh sentuh kejap lagi, tapi like early signs yang macam for like maybe new parents, young parents out there boleh okay.
Yeah, okay. So that means kalau macam tu, we see the developmental milestone of the speech tu, okay? So contoh macam umur dalam 6 months tu, if you see children pun, you notice that babies, they don't smile at us, they smile sendiri dulu. Then maybe dalam umur macam dah 6 months tu, they can smile, maybe earlier than that, they can smile to us, they respond to us, they macam ada that social development. So you know that okay, dia ada that, maknanya subhanallah lah, Allah buat the progress of human ni pelan-pelan to develop certain skills, So and then from there they will start to vocalize, dia mula cakap. And then by 9 months macam tu dah mula macam ma, bah. And then kenapa dia tak boleh sebut macam wah ke huruf bunyi-bunyi yang lain, because those are like second yang stage yang lain. Sebab tu kita budak-budak ni memang baby dia akan start dengan bah, mah. Dia punya sounds yang senang sebenarnya nak sebut dulu. And then you can see lah. So kalau katakanlah mungkin by 12 months, kenapa anak ni macam tak keluar langsung suara ke, tak ada keluar langsung nak cakap ke, then you can start to okay, is this something yang anak I ni ada speech punya delay ke. And then ataupun by 12 months dia dah boleh mula sebut one word. Macam anak I first word nak. Nak kan, pandai. So dia nak minta barang. So macam nak. And then later on mama, baba. And then dia akan ikut sebenarnya apa yang kita nak cakap.
Doktor, kat mana kita nak dapat this? Like where do we find it? Like this information, I wouldn't know. Okay lah,
Actually, if dalam buku baby tu, when kita bersalin, setiap baby
ada pink book.
Pink book should have the apa dia panggil, developmental chart of a child. So you should know when your child punya kepala nak kena tegak, bila dia boleh merangkak, kena dia and then it's not like 12 months kena macam ni, 3 months kena macam ni. Dia ada range pula. Macam maybe between 12 to 18. So kita kena bagilah plus minus macam 6 months ke for this thing to develop. So it's not, so you tengok juga. Macam okay, ni masih lagi like plus minus a few months belum cakap. Tapi katakanlah memang by 2 years langsung tak ada words, langsung tak boleh nak cakap tu, then it's a bit too late lah. Sebab biasanya budak-budak umur, toddlers tu kan, dah mula macam they can start to say things. Tapi memang sadar kita tak faham. Macam my daughter lah, Quran, solat tu mama kan, dia boleh sebut yang hujung-hujung tu. Tapi at least you know that there's that process there.
Yeah. Macam my niece kalau solat bak, sebab Allah Akbar, dia bak. Allah bak, macam me bak, I need bak.
So cute.
Sayang. I love my niece, ya Allah, sayang. I love all my nieces and nephews. Takut nanti my sister semua emo. Kenapa wedding you mention?
Yes.
Okay doktor, we'll go on a short break kejap. Kepada mereka yang sedang menonton, please share your experience sekiranya anak anda juga mengalami speech delay, at what age, what was the signs. Starbucks voucher for everyone tonight. We'll be right back. The Unity Show is brought to you by Starbucks Malaysia. Welcome back ke second segment. Kita masih bersama Dr. Atiyah Azmi ataupun Mama Tiyah, and malam ni topik kita is on speech delay. Okay doktor, tadi doktor kata doktor ada sebut tentang pink book where dalam buku tu dia ada growth like milestone of like our kids. Obviously kita tak perlu ikut sebulat-bulatnya lah, 3 bulan kena buat apa, 5 bulan kena buat apa, kena plus minus. Tapi okay, my next question is macam mana people relate pink book kadang-kadang maybe speech delay to autism. So how can one differentiate that anak mereka it's just speech delay?
Okay, so autism is a neurodevelopmental punya condition yang different from what is like kita panggil neurotypical. Okay, so autism ni, to spot autism is not just dekat dia punya speech. Banyak lagi yang you kena tengok as a whole. So dia macam, we know that usually orang kata apa, eye contact, they don't have eye contact, and then they have they are usually, dia ada satu yang dia orang very focused on, or not to say obsessed, but they have macam theme or something that they really like. So I remember one mother ni cerita kat I, anak dia suka tengok washing machine masa dia kecil. So macam masa dia awal-awal dia pun tak tahu kenapa sampai dia kena beli toy washing machine and letak, so anak dia akan just duduk and tengok je washing machine tu, because he is really just focus onto that. So mungkin ada macam contoh apa, satu benda dia suka itu je kan. Tu one of the things that you can see, and then the way they interact, dia orang punya social punya interaction. Kadang macam when you bring your babies, macam I pun bawa anak pergi pediatrician, they will see like macam, oh okay, pediatrician tu akan tengok, oh okay, the baby dah umur setahun je tu, dia tengok dekat doktor tu, dia nangis, dia ada response, dia ada respond like, oh I'm scared of you, dia ada stranger anxiety, because dia tahu that I feel unsafe, or dia ada connection dengan orang lain tu.
Right.
And then dia akan tanya lah macam, baby ni nampak respond tak dekat kita? Dia ada macam acknowledging that you're there lah as a person tu kan. So banyaklah things that you can actually you have to cari lah kan, either because now pun awareness anything banyak sangat, Masya Allah. So I think because I'm not very I pun tak familiar sangat dengan autism because I don't have direct experience, but I do know that the awareness sekarang ni Masya Allah dah banyak, and then the movement kat Malaysia, people are just sharing information, and then also sometimes I nak tengok banyak kadang kita tak boleh expect like, oh autism just macam ni je. Tapi sometimes dia ada dah variant punya way of presentation. Yes. Mungkin orang tak pick up sebelum ni. So what we can do actually as parents ni, number one is for us to really have a good attachment with our children. You have to connect with your children and then observe them. So the art of observation is to really look at your child, not to look at them and find things, but just to see what they do. Okay, so sometimes macam kita punya anak lah, kita duduk tengok dia tengah main, tengok je how dia pegang toys dia, macam mana dia punya fokus dekat dia punya toy tu, apa dia buat. Because through observation, we can actually find things that kita akan discover. So maybe kita nampak, oh actually anak I ni kalau tengah main, dia suka contoh dia tersenyum seorang-seorang ke, baru kita akan nampak. Tapi kalau kita tak perasan anak kita, mungkin sebab tu kadang kita terlepas, kita akan termiss cues.
Cue dia tu.
Yeah, so observe your children, and if we don't know, find the resources. Kadang orang Google ke, tak kisah nak baca buku ke, tanyalah orang yang kawan-kawan ke. Kadang kawan kita pun banyak experience kan, ada orang yang ada experience tu. So you ask, and itulah I selalu galakkan jangan malu lah untuk tanya kadang, sebab kadang-kadang orang macam tak apalah kot, tak ada apa, but bila dia dah lambat tu kita dah miss that moment to help.
Kadang-kadang kan doktor, it's apa tu bila doktor kata macam okay, observe your kids, because it's so different than how our parents raise us dulu. Kalau dulu kan mak bapak kita kan jenis macam garang, jenis macam macam we were raised differently. So now macam bila I see a lot of macam coaches macam macam speakers like doktor macam who encourage macam parenting nowadays, it's not about dah tak boleh dah apply zaman dulu punya parenting skills. Mungkin some families boleh, tapi macam kids these days they're too smart.
Yeah.
Too smart, and then like they grow macam dia orang punya growth different daripada kita.
Yes.
Betul. So I agree bila doktor kata macam observe anak, kadang-kadang cue tu datang daripada situ.
Yes, especially macam now lah, we don't know, macam contoh kesan gadgets tu kan, the gadgets punya tu, if we don't know that, if we don't even notice that our children tu macam maybe not yet boleh bercakap ke apa, kadang-kadang kita akan terlepas. So macam going back to what you said tu, macam parenting style tu kan, kita ingat, kita kadang it's good lah macam what our parents did was the best during that time, but now we know that the component of emotional punya aspect tu mungkin kurang diberi penekanan lah. Mungkin kalau orang yang tak realize, dia tak rasa benda tu penting. Or people will see that, oh you cry and everything, lembik lah you ni kan, macam apa ni, tu pun nak takut, tu pun nak nangis. Tapi bila kita dah faham pula, oh actually no, everybody needs to have that feeling kan, because it's part of us, feeling sedih ke apa benda. Tapi how we encourage and validate and make our kids know that you can cry, you can be sad, you can be angry, but how do we manage that? How do we regulate that? Sebab macam bila kita dah besar semua, kita masih nak marah ke benda kecil, tapi you feel frustrated with yourself lah, pasal aku ni macam ni, tapi you don't know what to do. So you tak ada that process of experience, nak train to manage that, to know how to handle that. Yes.
Oh my God, doctor, that's so me, because I'm the kind of person, when I get sad, I don't know how to handle it. I terus,
Me too.
yeah, I terus macam
emo gila kan,
emo gila macam, what's going on? And then you break down, you're like, what is this feeling? I am just so overwhelmed right now.
Yes.
Okay, doktor. Tadi doktor ada sebut, okay, coming back to speech delay. Kalau tiba-tiba macam meluahkan perasaan pula kat doktor. Okay, coming back to speech delay, doktor kata ni one of the factors is of course gadgets. So ada juga kadang-kadang kan, do you think bila anak lambat bercakap ni sebab kita kurang macam interact dengan anak-anak, the moment dia orang lahir kan, macam ada setengah parents mungkin terlalu busy, macam dia hantar terus nursery ke maid ke, so maybe they don't interact as much with their kids.
Yes, of course there's a factor, because anything pun always there's this multifactorial punya thing kan. So of course part of it, okay, children, we have to understand that kadang orang kata macam ni kita nak ajar anak kan, but firstly you have to have this mindset that children are born to be learners. They are learning all the time. Okay, but how do they learn? Look at children, they pick up what's around them. They pick everything yang dia orang absorb tu kan. So that's why macam you tengok kalau you pergi nursery ada newborn, all the newborns kind of look the same and they act the same. They cry when they are hungry, they cry when their pampers are basah or something, right? Tapi dia tak ada, kita tak nampak lagi macam dia punya perbezaan. Dia tak boleh cakap, dia tak boleh apa. So itu subhanallah, maknanya everyone in this earth, bila dia orang lahir, semua orang samalah, that pure baby tu kan. Tapi macam mana boleh macam my anak is different from orang, my neighbor punya anak, my sister punya anak ke, my ni punya anak, kenapa anak-anak kita berbeza? Because of because of genetic lah, apa benda tu semua, and then the environment that they live in. Okay, so providing the right environment for our children, we have to prepare or set up the environment that helps their growth holistically. So kalau macam speech, who teaches kids to talk? It's something that they do by themselves, that they hear. Sebab kalau itu baby, dia akan tengok mulut kita kalau kita cakap kan.
Yes.
They are looking at your mouth, and then kadang dia pun macam nak ikut, tapi dia tak boleh nak keluarkan suara. Tapi tu dah proses pertama tu, oh wow, this person is making, communicating. It's like an instinct that every human being ada, that to communicate. And then wow, dia macam fascinated. Dia like fascinated tengok, wow, the words. Dia nak buat. Tapi lama-lama then ada the ability tu boleh keluar suara. And then dia dah mula nak form the words. And then dia akan ikut apa yang kita cakap tu. Sebab itu, yes, parents and siapa yang around anak-anak ni, be conscious of what we say and how we say things. So the term that I like is that they say that provide the children with rich language, bahasa yang kaya. How? Through using proper sentences, using words yang very nice, very rich and positive and encouraging. Kalau kita tak tahu, bacalah buku, kadang nak idea kan, kita tak ada idea. And that's why reading to children is so good, because dia satu for their language development, our bonding, and also why dia akan register dekat budak-budak ni the sentence structure tu juga, because kadang kita cakap pun macam tak proper kan.
Tak proper. Oh.
So bila kita baca the proper sentences tu, budak-budak tu akan absorb. So they are learning, indirectly they are learning. So they are just like, diorang ni absorb macam sponge, whatever they are getting everyday exposed, the sensory input that they get, what they hear, what they see, what they do, all this will contribute to everything that they are learning and forming the skills. So kalau tengok banyak budak ni, from baby kepada 6 years old ni, from a helpless baby who can only cry to a 6-year-old who can talk, climb, run, apa lagi? Demand. Boleh apa semua kan? So dia macam 6 years, kalau 6 years of rapid growth, development and transformation. And what do we do to support that? Is to provide the environment tu. So kalau language, we speak to them. Tapi tak adalah big word sangat macam kalau budak baby tu pun dia pelos pula kita nak cerita. So kita cakap betul-betul yang mama nak makan. Kita speak properly, slowly to them so that dia boleh pick up. Okay? So kenapa kadang orang kata tengok, kalau tengok kartun TV ke apa benda, sometimes ada orang kata tapi anak I tengok YouTube ke apa jadi dia pandai English, kan? You pernah dengar tak kadang?
Yes.
Yeah. American accent.
British accent to Peppa Pig.
So Peppa Pig. Sebab dia boleh pick up from what they learn. Betul, they will learn that juga sebab dia dengar, dia boleh imitate. Tapi kita kena ingat juga again yang the whole speech tadi tu is actually more than just what you say. It's about comprehension, it's about understanding, kita ingat susunan ayat. And then for me lah, bila tu macam speech ni, it's about kita nak connect dengan orang lain, kan? So if we demonstrate to our children how we communicate with others, how we say thank you, how we say please, how we say sorry, that's what the children will learn. Bukannya kita yang cakap say sorry, tapi kita pula pergi drive through, kita pula jerit dekat orang take away tu, not realizing that our kids are watching, and then kita pula yang akan say to the kids macam, don't talk rough to others, or you must say please ke apa. But if we don't do it, dia punya impact tu tak besar macam mana kalau yang kita nak cakap tu tak ada kesan sebenarnya, as much as kalau kita buat, we provide the environment, we show to them how to speak nicely, have this literacy and everything through our way of being around our children.
Wow, being a parent is actually difficult, It's not just pushing a baby out and then, I thought dulu macam when we give birth to a baby, all the progress, the growth will come naturally. I never expected macam akan ada anak speech delay, akan ada kita kena itu, kena ini. Because kan zaman dulu kan kita have this mindset yang I'm sure doktor pernah dengar ni, kalau macam anak lelaki kan macam dah biasa lambat cakap kan, anak lelaki slow sikit. Tak apa, anak perempuan cepat, dia cepat membesar, cepat jalan, cepat itu. Do you think that's also true?
In a way lah, sometimes kita tak boleh nak blame the gender juga kan. Betul. Sebab kita kadang biasalah perempuan dia memang pandai sikit dia bercakap awal kan. Tapi laki dia laju sikit berjalan ke apa kan, orang kata macam tu kan. I mean, okay, I memang observe mak tengok kadang-kadang betul juga kita tengok macam perempuan tu cakap lebih ke apa kan. Tapi it could be juga a factor of how we treat them. In a way that maybe bila anak perempuan ni, kadang-kadang you notice fathers are more gentle with their daughters juga kan.
Betul.
Fathers talk more with their daughters. Maybe macam laki ni, biar kita macam ingatkan dia kena lasak kita, biar apa kita pun tak stop them. So you memang I rasa macam ada factor nurturing tu juga. Kan? Sebab macam the way we treat our kids memang kadang-kadang berbeza mengikutkan dia tu girl or boy. Kan? So,
betul.
Yes, tapi macam the key thing is as parents, kita nak focus on giving our children the experience, the memory and the exposure to the best that they can for their sensory, for macam kadang orang kata juga, alah tak payahlah bawa anak pergi holiday, kecil-kecil bukan diingat pun. But for me that is like you are giving them the experience, the memory, it will be in them. Mesti ada manfaat je. Mesti ada manfaatnya. So memang dia tak ingat lah pergi Eiffel Tower ke, kau dah bayar mahal naik tu, tapi tak ingat.
Big Band.
Tapi masa tunjuk gambar fresh pula kan, tak ingat mama bawa ni berapa ribu habis kata. Tapi kita kena ingat during that time you are focusing on your connection. So through that connection kita happy, anak happy, anak lagi develop a sense of feeling loved, feeling secure, and then macam speech tadi tu lah, anak lelaki ke perempuan buat, baca story, speak to them kindly, speak to them properly, show them manners. Pada I benda ni general punya benda yang kita kena buat dengan semua orang. So maknanya we should stop that label, anak perempuan, anak lelaki, ataupun anak kedua ni memanglah macam ni, anak pertama kan. So if we don't label our kids and look at them as every child has a potential, every child ada diorang punya uniqueness. So if we notice among our children, kadang-kadang kan memang ada anak nombor 1, 2, 3 senang. Dapat nama anak nombor ni, kenapa mencabar sangat? Why is this child not like my other children? Kan?
Yes.
My answer is because they are not the same people. Every child is different. Kan? Tapi bila senang, kita terlupa. Bila mencabar tu baru kita macam, oh shoot, because for me, in a way juga, it's God's way of waking us up. He wants us to learn more. He wants us to do more. He wants us to learn a new skill. So look at it positively. And again, parenting is hard because you are raising another human being. And it's not just physical, beli baju, pakai nampak comel-comel je kan. But it's really about how this person is going to be an adult in the future. So you're preparing these future adults. Kita nak anak kita independent, kita nak anak kita self-directed, kita nak anak kita boleh regulate their own emotions, all these things. Sebab itulah banyak parents ni tanggungjawab kita besar. So don't stop learning, continue learning and be open to change your old ways. Be open to adopt new skills. Be open to know that what I did was wrong. Now I need to do something new or better.
Do you raise your kids the same way or each lain-lain cara doktor layan
Okay. Yeah, for me itulah maknanya macam there should be something yang generally we do the same. Kan? Maksudnya macam what values yang kita rasa tu penting, of course that one yang kita akan sama. So tak boleh lah macam dengan kakak kita value kena polite kenapa, tapi bila adik dia rude kita tak kisah. No, itu certain benda kita tahu this one no compromise kan, you do it the same. Tapi understanding character of children yang berbeza tu, maybe it will influence our approach with them. So macam my kids pun I thought, this one dia more sensitive, this one needs more of talking, but this one needs more of like just need to bond. And this one merajuk dia lebih sikit, or this one so kita customize based on kita tahu children ni punya need. Tapi
the base tu sama lah.
The base tu sama is about children they feel their belonging and significance. They feel attached, they feel loved and they feel secured. Yeah, so memang for me macam kata orang kata teknologi industrial revolution lah apa benda, kita takut kan with the future, banyak teknologi tak tahu, AR lah, metaverse and all this stuff. But what remains constant, a human is still a human. Like as a servant of Allah lagi lah, kita no matter what, kita punya akhir sama juga, tak kisahlah zaman dulu dengan sekarang. We're still going to be asked about the same things. So focus on the values that you give to your children. Ingat yang itulah, you are creating or you are raising a future adult. Apa you punya ideal adult yang you tengok around you, kadang you suka tengok orang tu lah sebenarnya, tapi you know that I tak nak anak I ada this character. So how do you didik anak you supaya tolerant, macam tadi kita cakap tu kan ini yang even taking into consideration of the big ideas around us, macam anak-anak yang aware about poverty, anak-anak yang aware about education, just to be aware about the surrounding around you, and it begins from us. It begins from us as parents.
Betul tu. Okay doktor, one question, seronok cakap dengan doktor sampai macam alamak time dah nak habis. Padahal banyak ni question nak tanya ni, tapi okay, we shall save that for another segment. Tapi last question before we go, doktor. Other than doktor sebut tadi macam okay, kalau dah 4 tahun, the red flags. Let's talk about red flags. Apa red flags yang parents patut terus macam okay, this is it. This is we have to take our child to get help.
Okay. Is memang kalau macam by 2 kalau macam dia still macam langsung tak ada bunyi suara, tak ada keluar tu, bring your child, because that one sepatutnya memang dah ada, dia dah boleh cakap 2 words kan. Tapi kalau macam dia just macam cakap benda yang mungkin kita tak berapa nak faham tu, mungkin is just pelat-pelat tu kan. Tapi kalau macam tak ada suara atau tak ada boleh langsung tu, kita kena bring. And then also macam by 3 tu usually they can really speak very fluent juga kan. So macam again lah, kalau you rasa macam anak you macam like dia punya speech macam budak umur 1.5 tahun tapi dah umur 3 tahun tu, so bring to see. And then also red flags of like macam tak ada eye contact, tak ada way to connect with others, tak ada macam, so and then sometimes these kids bila dia frustrated, tak boleh nak communicate, they become aggressive. They start to throw macam nak marah, nak tantrum, but actually it's because they are frustrated. Tak boleh nak sampaikan. So if you dah cuba buat, kadang-kadang kita dah cubalah kan, eliminate this, kurangkan distraction, dah cuba bercakap, tak ada juga improvement, then go and see an expert juga. Because betul, sebab sometimes tak perlu pun semua terus pergi expert, but kita je yang kena buat those small changes. Maybe kita realise, oh yelah sebab aku tak cakap sangat dengan anak. Cuba try talk more. And then another thing I dengar the speech therapist cakap is when kadang-kadang kita bercakap dengan anak tapi TV dekat belakang pasang, background pun boleh affect speech punya development of anak-anak ni. Sebab kita nak belajar kan nak kena dengar, nak kena tengok. So you bercakap pun tapi dia punya ni mungkin boleh dengar TV tapi nak dengar you juga. So yeah, so kadang kita tak perasan kan, mungkin ada certain houses pasang je TV all day long kan. Lepas tu kita tak faham kenapa budak ni tak boleh cakap. Rupanya dia macam dia tak boleh, you bercakap dengan dia tapi dia dengar TV. So maknanya maybe kita tengok, okay rasa macam I could do more, like changing the way certain things lah, tweak here and there. Tapi kalau still tak ada improvement, then boleh minta ni lah bantuan orang yang lebih professional.
Wow, thank you so much for that, doctor. But that point yang doktor made about kalau kita bercakap dengan anak tapi ada TV kat belakang tu pun memainkan I never thought, because I realised because sekarang kita, when I talk to my nieces or nephew, aku cakap, hey, oi sini Isabel, ni Idris, dia macam mata ni pandang kita tapi dia macam badan macam gerak macam, tapi pendengaran dia tu macam kejap dengar kejap nampak. Yeah, actually you're right, because ada TV kat belakang.
Yes, that's why kalau macam I'm very like into Montessori punya education and philosophy. Kalau itu classroom dia orang, Montessori ni kenapa macam orang rasa boring? Dia bukan colourful, dia bukan macam ada mural yang kartun-kartun ke apa ke. Pada orang punya classroom, wooden, as much as natural things as possible. Dia punya apparatus ke apa memang macam very dull. Kalau you masuk sebenarnya you rasa dull sebab dia tak colourful macam the typical child center kan. But because you know why? Because dia nak kurangkan distraction. Dia nak celebrate the fact that children want to focus. Children want to just look at this thing and just this thing. You know, so tapi kalau kita banyak sangat bagi stimulation, it will distract them. Yes.
Boleh juga. Okay, actually doctor, one more question. Okay, now that kita dah tahu anak kita macam ada macam lambat bercakap kan, should we just take gadget off them completely?
It depends on the stage, because I tahu ada budak kalau you cold turkey dia memang kan. Okay, why do children develop that, or even adults pula tiba-tiba orang cold turkey dengan kita, kau jangan pegang phone seminggu, kita boleh tak? Because terasa kan, okay apa ni, sebab dia punya brain, dia dah ada dekat brain tu, kita dah ada, dia dah release dopamin ke apa, just dia jadi kepada macam addiction. Sebab tu bila macam orang drugs, they don't get their drugs, they have all these weird withdrawal symptoms.
Yes.
Because it's not something that they can control. So you can just, the best of kalau kita boleh memang just stop the gadget tu, but you ada tak something yang you nak replace tu? Janganlah you cold turkey dengan budak tu, lepas tu you tak tahu you tak plan. Tak tahu lah, you tak plan, and then it's gonna give you a nightmare kan, because budak tu macam akan tak boleh nak handle, lepas tu you pun not prepared, lepas tu you akan rasa macam frustrated sebab macam anak ni makin tantrum lah apa semua tu, then kita mungkin terbagi balik. But the thing is you have to understand, okay, kalau anak kita yang memang bukan addicted pun, just sikit-sikit tak apa, senang, tak payah on je lah TV, so you buat lah aktiviti yang bawa keluar ke, benda-benda yang you boleh buat. Tapi kalau yang macam memang katalah 8 jam sehari just bagi tablet ke, bagi gadget ke, kena pace it out, tapi you kena really find the alternative. Because kenapa budak-budak suka gadgets, tengok-tengok benda ni, sebab it's like an instant gratification and you don't have to think much. You
Betul.
just watch and get entertained. It's a passive way of filling up your time, basically, right? So bayangkan the child punya brain yang belum like develop fully, mature, dia sebenarnya brain budak ni rapidly nak grow. What do they need to grow? They need all the experiences, the sensory experience. Sebab tu kalau you perasan tak yang budak-budak kecil dia panggil messy play, you know, all the sensory. Why? Because all this sensory input goes to their brain and it helps to for their brain punya growth. So kalau kita just tunjuk iPad je, okay, this is leaf, this is tree, this is animal, it's not the same as if they go and touch a real leaf. They go and see a real animal. Kalau boleh bawa lah pergi safari ke macam bird ke apa kan. Tapi don't underestimate the power of bringing your kids in nature, bringing them for a walk. Kita tak tahu nak buat apa pun, bawa je. Kan, tak tahu nak cakap macam tak apa. At least it's so much better than them main gadget tu. So if you want to disconnect your child from the gadget, have a plan. Have a solution. Cari references. What do you need to do? Barulah insyaAllah. Sebab you kena ingat juga, bukan anak tu you ni yang nak kena handle, betul tak? Kita bukan anak, banyak kerja kita lagi. Kan jadi stress, you cannot do this, you cannot do this sebab kau stress dengan anak kan. So, take it easy, step by step insyaAllah.
Ya Allah, kita patut bawa benda tu awal tadi. Kita tanya last pula, tapi
I pula jangan banyak cakap, tak boleh berhenti pula ni.
Itu dah macam, alamak, dah terlebih bahasa ni. Tapi thank you so much, Doktor. Thank you so much for coming on malam ni. Jangan lupa the red flags yang Doktor mention tadi. And kepada parents luar sana yang rasa macam they want to take gadgets off from their children, make sure you have a plan. Macam Doktor kata, jangan simply ambil. Lepas tu korang macam pada kau lah, macam aku dah ambil dah, I've done my part. No, your part doesn't stop there. Your part continues on. You know, it's not just about taking the gadgets away from your kids. And parenting is hard, but you know, dia akan membawa kita ke syurga, insyaAllah kan Doktor kan.
Amin.
Kita jumpa lagi minggu hadapan, same place, same time. The Unity Show is brought to you by Starbucks Malaysia. Bye.